It's the story about a little boy who's out on a walk one day. And on his walk, he comes across a group of 5 men standing at the edge of a cliff. And those men are looking over the edge of the cliff. So the little boy's curious. So he walks over to the edge of the cliff very carefully and looks over to see what the men are looking at. Well, about 50 feet off the edge of this cliff is a little ledge. And on that ledge is a stranded little dog. And the 5 men are trying to figure out how to rescue that little dog from that ledge. So one of the men sees the little boy and says, "Son, can you come here for a minute?" So the little boy walks over. And the man said, "Son, we're trying to figure out how to rescue this little dog, but all of it, we're too big, we're too heavy to lower any one of us down onto that ledge. Would you consider allowing us to lower you down to that ledge by rope so that you can put another rope around the dog and we can pull both of you to safety?" Well, the little boy looked, and it's a long way down. But he saw that little dog, and that little dog was helpless. So he looked up to the man and said, "I'll tell you what, I'll be right back." So the little boy ran off. About 20, 30 minutes later, the little boy showed up again. And he walked over. This time he had an elderly gentleman with him. And he said, "Mister, I'm willing to help rescue that little dog." He said, "But I have one condition." The man said, "Okay, well, what's the condition?" He said, "My condition is that you let this man," pointing to the elderly gentleman, "you let this man hold the rope." And the man said, "Well, that's fine, son, but there are 5 of us. I'm not sure what difference this elderly gentleman's going to make. What makes him so special?" And the little boy said, "Oh, it's simple. He's my dad. He's my dad. And I know my father isn't going to let anything bad happen to me." How is it that Paul, with great confidence, can say, "We know all things work together for good"? Paul can say that not based on what he knew, but based on who he knew. He knew that God the Father had given Jesus for us. And a God who expressed that kind of love truly does have our best in mind. In fact, Paul said that in a few verses later. He said this, speaking of God, "He who did not spare his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also give us freely all things?" Can I paraphrase what Paul's saying there? Paul is saying, God did not give Jesus for you only to abandon you.